Hi everyone, just wanted to make this quick video. As you're learning about your new Nearpod subscription, you may go ahead and take advantage of some of the really cool new features that you might not know about as a new user here in Nearpod in 2020. So in the top right corner, what I want to introduce you today is this quick launch feature. You see up here, quick launch, top right, next to your cute little icon. Now, even though you might be using your Nearpod subscription for student-paced lessons or teacher-led lessons, you can use this quick launch feature to go ahead and poll your class and ask them anything you need or to gather information at any time outside of a general Nearpod lesson. So when you click quick launch here in the right corner, you'll see that your options are to go ahead and just set a timer for any individual activity that you're having for class. Go ahead and click that. Go ahead and change the amount of time that you want to have that activity going on. You can go ahead and change the seconds and then just launch that and start timer. I love this countdown feature, cute for younger learners. And then your timer is just going to go on your board. Now we know that there are 100 other places on the web that you can go to do this, but Nearpod is just trying to make sure that they're offering you every feature available that you might need in your classroom. If something happens, you're interrupted by a student, by a question or an announcement, you can go ahead and immediately add time, or you can take time away. You can also pause the timer and you can restart. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and look at the next feature, cancel this timer, and we're back to our regular screen so that we can go ahead and try out a new quick launch feature. So right here in the top right corner, you can see that we also have this Collaborate board. Now the Collaborate board is really awesome. It is a digital bulletin board for your students. And I think there are lots of different ways that we can put it on the screen. For one, if I click on this Collaborate board, which has a number of like sticky notes for my students that they can add information or ideas or questions at any time, you might just want to post the question like, what questions do you have about today's lesson? You can go ahead on the very bottom. There are 5 different styles. You're currently looking at the right-hand most style. We can just click it to preview what it might look like in our classroom. And then we can go ahead and say quick launch. Just like any other student-paced or live lesson for Nearpod, it's going to go ahead and give your students this join code, which they can enter at nearpod.com, or you can go ahead and grab the share link for this activity and share that maybe in your Microsoft Team or on Seesaw or anywhere else that your students are used to going to grab information from you. You can even go ahead and post it directly to Teams. So once you do that, this is what your students are going to see, maybe projected on the board in front of them. And then at any time during their independent work period, they can go ahead on their end, on their device, and go ahead and post a question for the entire class to see. Now, that way you can go ahead and you can change and adapt your direct instruction in the classroom when you have a question available. And we all know we have those students who are afraid to open up and ask a question out loud. So you might actually get better questions, more questions, and some with deeper thought involved where students might be afraid to ask in the presence of their peers. So I encourage you to go ahead and take a look at this feature. I'm going to click this back arrow. I can pause this at any time and resume it later. And now I'm back to my Nearpod dashboard again. So let's go ahead and look at another quick launch feature. This time, let's go ahead and look at one of these draw it activities. Now, of course, this might look different for every age learner. Just ask you right here, instructions, go ahead and put a question or what you want your students to do. I'm going to have you draw something fun. And then right here, if you want to give them some visual reference, I can click Add Media. And I can choose an image that I already have, or I can go ahead and link anything I need right here. So I'm going to click Image. I'm going to go ahead and look for some squirrel clip art. In fact, I'm going to ask it for a black and white image, so maybe it looks like something they might draw. I can simply go ahead and choose one and say save. And now my students will have that as a reference here. Now, if I want to make it really fun, maybe some challenging extra bonus time activity, I can add a timer right here on the right-hand side to see who can do this the best. Maybe it give them 5 minutes just to see what we come up with, and click add. And now it hasn't been launched yet. So in the bottom right, I have to click quick launch. I'm going to get that join code for my students again, so I can go ahead and give them this 5-digit code so they can join at nearpod.com, or I can go ahead again and grab this live link. Now, this is what they're going to see. I can click start activity. Because it is a timed activity, it's counting down. You'll see that the timer in the top right corner has automatically begun to count down. As students submit their answers, I would be able to go in and look at their responses. However, I'm going to go back here on the left, and I'm going to leave the session at this time. This is a great feature because it also gives us the ability to go ahead and pre-create these quick launch activities before our students come in, and then we can go ahead and right here in our library, you can see here is that new draw it activity. Here's the collaborate board next to it to the right that I just did. And here's an open-ended question that I started earlier, that I made earlier for my students. And I can go ahead and click quick launch. I can click the code that I already initiated, and I can say resume. Here again is the 5-digit code for the kids to join, or the link to share. And then here is my open-ended question for my students. So what qualities make a squirrel a rodent? They could answer this question in a few words. They could answer it in a sentence. They could answer it in a whole paragraph. If you wanted to, you could give additional information here about the requirements. You would be able to, as you see here, Sophie Connor has signed in and she's not submitted an answer. But if I had multiple students signing in to answer this, all of their names would appear right here, and I would be able to click on their name to view what it is that they've submitted. Again, I could go out and save this activity for a later session. Click yes. So that's it for really cool new quick launch features available to your students at any time outside of a regular Nearpod lesson. I hope that's useful to you. Have a great day.